So 11 deals, and how many months was the campaign for?
This one was at the 3-month marker, and we just keep changing the data and mailers as needed. Right now, we're kind of stuck on this one because if it's working, we're not going to change anything.
What's up, investors? I'm Nick James, direct mail marketing coach here at REIPrintMail. Today, I'm here with Charles, our senior direct mail marketing coach, and we're going over a campaign that he recently ran in Ohio. Charles, tell me a little bit about your campaign that you just ran.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. So I'm working with a client in Cleveland, Ohio, and we're getting some awesome results. And the reason that we know that is we track everything we do, and we go over the KPIs with our clients every 30 days. So with this client on our last check-in, I actually have the exact results right here. In a 3-month time period, we were up to 423 calls. With one of our data mailer sets, we're getting a 1.09 response rate. And with our other data mailer set we were doing, we were getting a 0.88% response rate. In this time frame, we were up to 11 deals that we were looking at. This information is actually a little bit old. We've had another month go by, and we are up to a 2% response rate with our mailer that's doing best. And what we've done is we've turned that into kind of our piece that's going to lock in. And that data and that mailer, until it dries up, we're going to be hitting it with about 80% of the marketing spend, but we're going to keep about 20% of that marketing spend in different areas. So we always have a pivot in case it dries up. We know what we're moving to. So with this client, I've been working with him for about 6 months now. At the beginning, we tried out a bunch of different mailers. We tried out a bunch of different data sets. And with that, we kind of locked into these two we're using right now. As they started really catching on and they started getting the good results and creating that high call volume, we ended up dumping a lot of money into it. So he ended up upping from about $5,000 a month to about $10,000 a month. This produced that high call volume. But something we really kept an eye on was, while having a high call volume is awesome, did it produce deals? And the answer is yes here. We have 11 deals and we have a huge return on investment. We're at about a 5x return right now.
Okay, so 11 deals, and how many months was the campaign for?
This one is an ongoing campaign. This scenario, while most of our campaigns are kind of 3 months and stop, this one's on our REI complete side. So it's ongoing and we make adjustments as needed. It allows us to pause and return back to doing it whenever we need to, really. So this one was at the 3-month marker, but now we're into month 4 and we're continuing going through, and we just keep changing the data and mailers as needed. And like I said, right now we're kind of stuck on this one because if it's working, we're not going to change anything.
Okay. And what was the mailer that just made everything skyrocket?
So this specific one was our CD2-S. So it's actually a small postcard. It's about 4¼ inches by, I think it's 5 or 5½ inches, about your normal index card size. It comes in bright yellow, pink, and green. So when we were sending it out at the beginning, we were going with the bright yellow, but just to kind of change it up to give it a different look in the mailbox, as some of our target audience are going to be hit more than once if they have high motivation, we changed it over to the pink style.
Specifically, whenever you were looking at the motivation in this area, was there any distressors that you were looking for?
So this is one nice thing about this client I'm working with. He has a lot of disposition options. He wholesales, wholetails, fix and flips. He has the ability to go to the MLS, and then he also does buy and holds. So I was able to kind of open up the buy box a little bit, but what we're noticing is working the best for him is definitely the absentee owners. When we go to owner occupied, we're looking a little bit more at low equity, like 10, 20, 30%. And it gives him opportunities to create some creative finance or subject to. For people who have bought a house, they've been there a few years, but it was that starter home. They don't have quite a bit enough equity at the moment to go out and buy that dream home. So he comes in and he helps them out and gives them the cash up front. And then on the backside with the terms, he can make sure that the deal works for both parties. So with that, that was kind of his spread.
Got it. And you mentioned that you're now in month 4. When did you guys start seeing results with the campaign?
So with that, around day 60, we definitely kind of picked up on some trends and patterns. But at the end of 3 months is when we made that pivot to put 80% of his marketing spend on this postcard, the data set we were working with called Invisible Data. And that's when we went all in. At the end of the day, we have a rule that we like to follow where we like to see about 5,000 mailers on the ground for 30 to 60 days before we really make some decisions using the KPIs. If you jump the gun any earlier than that, you could skew your KPIs a little bit, skew your data, and you don't want that to end up happening. So we waited until day 90, which is what we recommend to all of our clients, to really make that big decision, especially when you're spending thousands of dollars.
Right. And a big part of what we do is finding the list, who we're going to mail to, but also what piece is working the best. Whenever you hit that whenever you met with invisible data and you also had the right mail piece? Is that when everything really started to come together?
Yeah, that was the magical combination that we needed to find. At the beginning, we also ran our smart AI data, which is our own personal data house, with this exact same mailer. And while it performed well, it did not perform as well as when it was combined with the invisible. So it's very important that when you're doing your KPIs and you're trying to figure out what's working, that you give everything enough time to have solid results. So that 60 to 90 day windows when we really started making those decisions. And it's funny that the exact same mail piece that's just going out to different people from two different databases hits so differently. And those are things you definitely want to dial into. And that's something that we take the time to figure out and make sure that we're evaluating and looking at. So you don't accidentally assume a mail piece doesn't work well. Maybe it's just not paired with the right data set. And then vice versa. Maybe you think a data set isn't doing that well. So you choose to go to PropStream or you choose to go to ListSource, another one. And now you're jumping around too quickly and you can never build traction because you didn't test it well enough and you didn't give it enough time.
Would you say that a lot, or are there comparable campaigns that you've ran like this one?
Yeah, so I see campaigns in many different areas. I have other clients in Arkansas that are seeing similar results with totally different data sets and mailers. I have people in Alabama doing the same thing. It really depends on where you're at. Cleveland, Ohio, it's a great area for investors. I have this client plus a few others that are doing really, really well. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to where are you at. We notice that when you move to different areas along coastlines, or if you're in the Midwest, if you're up north, down south, different mailers definitely track differently. And while I could say this small postcard that is killing it for my client in Cleveland is an amazing mail piece, if you go in and you take that and you go and use it out in California, I've never seen good success with it out in California. So it's definitely important that while you look at different style mailers and you go to different coaching classes and you get advice from professionals, make sure that they're close enough to your backyard so the information's relevant. And if it's not, that's okay. They can still give you great advice, but make sure you're always testing what's going to be happening in your market, not just in other people's markets.
When it comes to, like you said, testing in other markets, being different from Cleveland to California, that's a big reason why you would call in and check in with us, because we know what's working.
Definitely. We track everything that we do. We have AI that analyzes it. We have our own database where we self-analyze as well. And what we're going to be able to do is, while we might not be able to pinpoint your exact zip codes or county, we're going to know for the last 12 months in your state or in or around your county what's been working and what's been getting the traction. And we've done that part that's really expensive. We've done that part where you test mailers and you get no results and that money just disappears. And unfortunately, like, all right, now I got to test something new. We've done that. We've at least narrowed it down to the top 2, 3, 4 mailers, at least in your state, that are performing well. We have figured out the top 1, 2, or 3 databases that are pulling the best data for your area or your state. So then when we go into testing, like I said, 90 days seems to be the magic number. We're really, really dialing in, and we're getting to that point where we have 11 deals. We're getting to that point where we have 423 calls, and we can do it that quickly because we've done the expensive part for you, because we've never stopped tracking everything that anybody does with us over the years.
Right on. Charles, thank you for your time and going over your campaign with us, and all the more success to your client that you're running the campaign with in Cleveland right now. Investors, if you want to know what's going on in your area and what's working the best, click the link below and book a call with us. And stay tuned for the next one. This is Nick from REI Print Mail. Don't forget to like and subscribe to REI Print Mail, and we'll see you on the next one.